Hey guys, Rob out here at ImAlwaysInHotWater.com and BoatsInHotWater.com. Just letting you know this is probably going to be a pretty long video, 12 to 15 minutes, so please hang in there through my voice and bear with me. It is once again 40 degrees out here and the wind is howling. Thankfully I'm not on the water, but I will be at 11. And this is a follow-up video to a preliminary video that I posted just last week. The boat just got cleaned up for me and I got a little more information. Unfortunately, the only reason this boat is being sold by the widow is that her husband had passed away February 1st. So I had a bunch of friends contact me to come help her out to sell this vessel, and I do not regret it one bit and want to do the best job I can for her. This is a 2000 model Grady White 208 Adventure. I've had this model boat and I wish mine was in this nice of a condition. I've also had the 209 Escape, and I'm going to try and give you the best walkthrough and explain the labor of love that's gone into this boat, and I don't think it's going to disappoint for anybody looking for this model. And where I'm going to start is with the trailer, which we have a title for. This trailer over the last year was just completely redone. If you guys can just even see the new fittings, jack stand, I think the winch is probably within a few years old. New rollers, brackets, hubs, tires, bearings, you name it. The trailer was completely put up to speed, and it has only been in the water probably twice since the trailer was redone. These wheel covers were just put on a few days ago, as the seller was going to do that and never got around to it, obviously. You have single axle brake, and if you guys want to take a quick look, I'm sorry to press this, but we are running torsion, and so you can see the rollers, and the bottom paint is also in excellent shape. This is a two-owner boat, but this particular owner has owned it since 2005, and they had it up in Virginia in storage. And you guys can see all of that work just redone. Rollers. No issues with bottom paint. I mean, if you want, great. If you don't need to touch it up or do anything with it. And on the port side, same thing. New tires, new wheels, new hubs, new covers. Obviously, I haven't hooked up to a trailer. I'm going to assume the brakes work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk around the exterior of the boat and talk about the boat and the history of the boat. This particular seller and his widow had the boat up in Virginia up until about 2 or 3 years ago. So they brought it down here and trailered it. Obvious, haven't really been able to use it that much. As you guys can see, overall, I mean, she could probably use she could use a real good compound. You know, a detailer could definitely bring this hull back. I've had my guy bring back a lot worse than this. This really isn't too bad, but you might have, well, I'm not seeing any chalking, so even up top, let's just, nope. Right here, this actually happened here locally. You know, getting used to the waters, the currents, trying to get in the dock, you know, a little marine text, and you'll be fine there. Nothing structural. Please remember, I am not a marine mechanic or a marine surveyor. We have clean titles on motor, boat, and trailer. You guys can take a look. Spare tire. Over on, that was actually starboard side, I'm sorry. Port side, I see, you know, just a little fill-in was done here and a little bit right there. You know, you got a couple of scrapes, but nothing drastic. And I know over here on port side, on the corner of the vessel, right here. Not bad. Now, what you're going to notice, just so you guys know, I do have response from the trim tabs. And when you see the fittings and everything on the boat. That bow rail looks as if it's brand new. Just everything's been shined and kept up and loved on. Great opportunity for an older 208 adventure and to make it yours. Now, the motor is a Yamaha 150 XX SXTXRY. It's titled as a 2001, but that was a 2000 model, but neither here nor there. There's the prop. You guys can see the anode's in great shape. I have pictures up on the site of compression test. We are running 125 to 130 cold compression on all chambers. Now, keep in mind, that's super cold compression. Since last service, which we don't know because we can't find all the records because we don't know where her husband kept them, the boat's only been run twice. So we don't know the hours on the boat based on compression and their use and the history. I'll probably say somewhere around 500 hours would be a good general guesstimate. The gauges don't present. It's got the older Yamaha tacks, which are fading a little bit. We do have cable steering. You guys do have that pop down here in case you want to come all the way up with the motor. I just want to cover all of these things. Now, over here, let me cover some negatives, which really aren't too bad. Right here, you got this starting to peel off, and she already peeled here. That is something anybody can fix in warm weather. You have your fish boxes. The seats in the forward helm area have just been replaced with new recently, I'd say within the last year and a half, and they are in excellent condition. Let's just pop into the cabin and get that over with. Overall, the cabin's pretty clean. She could probably definitely use just a little bit more. I can't tell. There might be a hint of mold or not. I really don't smell it, but it's also really cold out. All the cushions are with the boat. Some need a little cleaning, some don't. Some are new. Some are original. Porta potty. The cushions in the actual cuddy cabin are in nice shape. Here is the stereo, which I haven't fired up with the boat. Real nice situation here. Let me just, before I forget this, that looks to be, that VHF can't be any more than a year or two old. Up down there, that's a real nice Standard Horizon Explorer. And what I'm gonna kind of get into all, the upgrades and stuff. If you guys can see the fittings, you can see where the pillows go, obviously. I'm just winging this video. I'm so cold right now, it's not even funny. All right, let's just move up forward. As you guys can see, that bow rail, if that's the original bow rail, I am in shock. I mean, you would have to be out shining that thing up all the time. It can't be, but it's there. Brand new horn, wipers work, nav lights work. I'm not up underneath. When I looked in the cabin, I don't show any leaks. There's really no deterioration here. Your anchor. And you got a tiny bow pulpit. Not a bow pulpit, but I'm sorry. To tie your anchor up if you want to put it up there. Top of this T-top. Walking through, I mean, the boat is clean. Your screens could be due to be replaced if you want. She's just a clean boat, nice compression. Now, this boat has not been run, but a couple of times in a little of about a year. So that compression on that motor is only going to get better. This boat needs to be run and needs to be run out. I don't see on the Cowling OX66, but I'm going to call it OX66 based on the SXTXRY because I've actually had a few of those models, and great dependable engines. On a boat like this, they're probably going to burn, if you're pinning it, 6 to 8 gallons an hour. You have your standard oil fill. There's dual batteries on this boat. All services have been kept up to date, as you can see. God, the plugs don't even look like they've barely been fired on. They did come out and start the boat. Obviously, if we're under contract, the sea trial is in order. I did notice one thing. Even though I see the tilt and trim pickup assembly for about $500 was replaced, back in around October. I have the receipt for that. The switch, engine down, but not up. All right, I just figured that out, but I can get her up here. So let's just point out that, just for kicks. There's your horn. There's your wiper, which is never happens. Now this is where we're going to get into it a little bit more. I don't have the receipt for it. I wish I did. I think about 3 years ago, this is a $4,000 custom T-top made by Atlantic Towers, and that doesn't even include install, was put on this vessel, and I really like it. I know sometimes you want a hardtop or a bimini, but this just really makes this boat pop. As you guys can see, you know, you got very little oxidation. In addition, this was also just put in. This is probably only the second time it's been fired up. This is done by Black Dog Marine. I have the receipt. I'll have it on the site. A Garmin 94 SV unit, just installed. Obviously, the seller wasn't planning on what happened. So there's been a lot of work done to this boat recently, getting it ready for the season, and unfortunately, she needs to find a new home. Tilt and trim, and I think that'll probably about cover it. I mean, you guys can see it. It is what it is. She has been kept up by the same owner for the last 15 years. I did just get the floor dirty because we just cleaned it, but I'll wipe that down. And let me see if I can find anything else. Garmin transducer, trim tabs. Nope, that'll about do it. I think this is a great opportunity. Let's work together and get this sold. You know, so the widow can move on. You know, not to make it dramatic, but I'm sure this boat sitting out here, considering this was their thing, is not helping on a daily basis. And let's get this thing moved along. I will have it priced on the site where I deem accordingly based on the upgrades and the work just done. And, you know, obviously reasonable offers will be considered to make this happen. So anyway, Rob out here at ImAlwaysInHotWater.com, wishing you guys a great and safe boating day. Rob signing off.